Bonvoy post-game check-in after Rogue grabbed the first win of the LEC 2025 season. And I have Larssen with me. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
It was like a really long time ago since I won like the first game. I feel like the past like 6 splits we lost like the first game.
Yeah.
And it feels really good to start off with a win because I mean starting off with a loss is like always feels really bad.
Absolutely, and it's been so long since we unfortunately saw you on the LEC stage. So I'm guessing you're happy to be back, but you were one of the last teams we had news from when it comes to announcing the roster. And as the only remaining member of Rogue last year, tell me about what happened in the off-season and if you had a voice in deciding the players that are with you today. How did that go?
Yeah, like most people know, we got like our roster pretty late, right? But even though we got pretty late, I'm like really happy with the players we got. It's like we got some great players, I think. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm obviously have to say, right, since I'm the only player.
Of course.
So I'm happy with all the players we got, right?
All right. Well, one question that I have, though, I know that it was expected that things would be crazy on the map, especially having Execute, Malrang coming back, and Adam on the top lane. It feels like same old Rogue in terms of dynamics. So do you expect things to change, or is that going to be how you want to play?
Yeah, I mean, the drafts are pretty slow, right? They pick like full scaling comp. We also had like pretty scaling comp, so the drafts are like pretty slow. Also, we just decided we want to play for Drakes this game.
All right.
So that was our focus, as you can notice. That's why it was pretty slow, because we just play for Drakes. Also, in scrims, we have been like what people expect, right? Like the psychopaths, they call us. And scrims had not been going like that great, so we also decided that we need to calm down a bit and not like fight all the time. Like we need to be a bit more smart, because it's been like hindering us in scrims that we're just taking random fights all the time. So that's kind of what I play like we did on stage today, because we want to play like opposite and more calm and collected.
And it's the best approach to grab the first win. Any words on being reunited with Malrang? Last time you guys were together, you did wonders on League.
I mean, we work really well together. Like I love playing with him. He's really nice to play with on like all sides, like personality and in game. Every mid laner is a youngler who loves to gank mid, right? So.
Amazing to hear. Well, great to see you again, and congrats on the first W, Larssen. Thank you so much for the interview. And that's all for us here. Sjokz, over to you for more on that game.
Thank you. Also, thanks to Yoshi for subscribing. Did you see that?
No, I didn't actually, but thanks, the goat. Thanks.
That's cool. I'm not going to do that for everyone, by the way, but yeah, it was cool to see. Anyways, Larssen gets the first one with Rogue. The way he said it's kind of true, right? It's like, well, in the last 2 years, we haven't been able to get those wins and probably not get enough wins at that completely. So it's good that they got a win. When I was watching it, though, I was like, oh, God, yeah, this is ever a Rogue game. But that's okay.
Yeah, you know, seeing Malrang, I thought coming into this game, this guy, he's going to be a psychopath. He's going to gank everywhere. They're not even going to know it. They're just going to show up he's just going to show up in the lane, and he's going to gank you. And then I didn't see anything. Like, he was taking Drakes. We were just cross-macking Drakes for grubs. Oh, I counter-jungle you every now and then, but that was it. There was no psychopath gank whatsoever.
Yeah, I was really surprised, especially with Jonghoon, aka Execute now in the support role, who's also a huge psychopath, loves to fight. I mean, Larssen hinted at it with the scrims and that they're really fighting in scrims. I was thinking this would be a bloodbath, but it ended up being an incredibly slow game that just essentially was just decided by one fight.
It's interesting because before we were talking about how the season, maybe it feels a bit overwhelming, maybe there's a lot going on, but there really isn't, because if you don't choose to fight for certain things and your enemy also doesn't, then whatever.
Did you think this game looked any different than 2024 season?
No, but I don't want to think about what that means, because then I'll get depressed, because...
Okay, but it was also, I will say...
The new objective did decide the game.
It did.
That's very true.
And to be fair, we were really... I mean, you disagreed, because you said they actually shouldn't go for taking it into the Baron, I believe, or at that point.
That was an earlier one. And that was from a Team Heretic's perspective.
Yeah.
I think they treated that Autocon like it was a gallery painting. They were just letting it stand there for 6 minutes straight. The HP bar on that thing, I think, is really fake. And they really... I think Heretics were caught with their pants down. The fact that they started Drake alone with Seri, just not expecting Rogue to do it, it was... super strange.
I'd love if we could bring it up as well, the actual team fight, so we can actually see what happens, because you're right, this goes on for so long. Like, they make a split call here. FLICKR is just soloing Drake.
Like, you can't do this. This super OP objective is on the other side of the map. And then Seri's gonna recall and run there.
It's a mess, bro. It's really a mess. Like,
And beforehand you would say, oh, we're overstaying. No, you're not overstaying. You got GA, bro. You can take whatever
you can do
trash
whatever you
fight
want.
you're looking for
Whatever
right
you
now.
want.
So Rogue, that can just be like, yeah, go into it. And I think Team Heretics, it doesn't really look like they have a plan here. I think they were caught off guard that they got Atacant as quickly as they got, turned on to Baron immediately, and then it's just over by now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're expecting in their head that this Atacant is going to take longer or do more damage, so Rogue can't do it when FLICKR does the Drake, and then they get the Atacant buff, and then it's like, oh no, we can't give them Nash now, because if we give them Nash, then they get both the GA and the Nash, and they can just suicide push. So you just handled yourself a losing deck of cards.
Yep, you did. It was stacked against you, but for Rogue, good that they got the win. We were talking about Adam as well. Maybe that he gets a bad rep, because he's actually a very proficient team player in terms of macro, you were saying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe think that Adam is this really selfish player because he plays these like kind of aggressive, egotistical champs, but he's actually one of the like smartest top laners I've played against in how he moves around the map. Like he uses his pressure to move to mid. You saw it this game. He got the bot tower, then he resets, gets a deep push on bot, resets, opens up on top, gets the top tower alongside Larssen. Boom, just like that, 2 towers advantage for Rogue. And he's really good at using his own lead to move around to help his teammates and look for fights and kind of give, I think, Rogue a big leg up compared to what they had before.
Yeah, he is also our player of the game.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Does that need a call out? It's the first week. I
It used to
don't
have a
It's our
call out,
Kia
didn't it?
player of the game,
there
of
we
course.
go.
I was just checking if you were paying attention.
I absolutely was.
No, but that's amazing. I think most people would have said before this match that Rogue would have probably won versus Team Heretics, because I feel like we're all kind of down about this roster, Heretics, just because...
So
I thought Heretics would win.
Oh, sorry.
There was a point in time where I thought Rogue is so slow, I did not expect this. Team Heretics
I mean,
got
before.
Yeah, absolutely before. But I even think coming into this, right, with the expectations that we had, I had very low expectations of this roster and will continue to have so. I think, well, I just...
What, Heretics?
Yeah.
Or-
I mean, I thought in my head, it's like if Adam doesn't get a big lead, then Sjokz better than Malrang, and FLICKR is going to be able to
I didn't
carry
even
team fights.
notice that Sjokz was in this game.
I mean, I think he had
That's
the
bad.
first blood as well, but for me as well, because I do want to come back to my point, because I wasn't just trying to flame them, okay?
Yeah, we don't do that here. We don't do that here.
Exactly. My point was, I actually think they individually did a fine enough job, but as a team, like, what do you expect?
They were
You're throwing
lost on
in
the map.
5, yeah, but you're throwing in 5 different players from 5 different teams, 3 of them
5
being
different
rookies.
tiers.
Yeah, well, teams with 3 rookies, right?
Yeah.
There's no one here who's going to step up and be like, this is how we want to play the game. These entire weeks are going to be about how do we actually play League of Legends as a team, and that's going to take some time before we see that from Heretics.
And Carlson got first blood.
First kill of the
Yeah.
season.
And Camilo actually did great in lane, and he's
Even-
actually 2 leagues under Larssen. So I'm
Yeah, it
only
wasn't
seeing
the-
positives in this loss.
It wasn't a laning issue, just seemed like they
No?
kind of...
What was it?
It was a macro gap, or I don't know,
Okay.
Atacant gap maybe. They just didn't expect that Rogue could rush it, and then that blew up the whole game. I would like to see maybe a more aggressive draft from Heretics sometime, where Sjokz is on more of a playmaker and he can actually do things with more volatile lanes. But for now, this is what we got.
That's what we got. And what we also got is another break, but it's really short, I promise you. We're going to be back with Vitality versus VDS.
He doesn't like that. Look at him, he's a good boy, but he don't like that.
Maybe we could play some A rounds or something like that. I mean, this is map, right? New tower, new objectives.
Have a break. Have a KitKat. Red Bull gives you wings.
And we're back for more League of Legends here in the LEC arena. I'm still Medic, I'm still joined by Vedius, but before us are two different teams to the previous ones.
That
and
is
wait,
correct.
I just want to say, everyone was saying best of three. Why are we not having best of three? You still want it now, guys? You still want another game? Different best of one might be nice.
Vitality versus BDS will feature some new players, some familiar faces once again. We are going to have some new additions to the BDS roster with Irrelevant, a highly praised top laner from last year. Previously on SK, he's a player that has been recognized as being insanely talented, now joining this BDS roster, replacing Adam, which I think is an exciting prospect. We know him largely for his Jax, but he has a very diverse champion pool on the top side of the map, and it's someone that I'm excited to see join the likes of some very strong players in Nuke and Ice, along with the new additions of 113 and Parus. Parus being the most sought-after new prospect coming in from the ERLs.
Yeah, incredible support player. He and Stend were really battling it out near the top. Parus often came out on top of that rivalry. On the other side, Vitality have some changes to their roster as well. Naak Nako coming in from their Academy squad, who made EU Masters Finals last year. Lyncas as well, alongside Czajek, filling in that mid-lane role. Carzzy and Hylissang round out that roster, and although we are going through picks and bans, you may see the players doing team talks and such beforehand. Draft is a pre-recorded for best of ones, which is why we can get through everything, get into the game quicker than ever.
Now Corki going to be the first pick as it was left open. Varus, Cassante, Maokai coming out from the side of Vitality, and Skarner, Victor, Elise coming out from the side of BDS. If you're curious about the Elise ban, it's another flex pick, both jungle and support. And Hylissang is known for his crazy support picks. Of course, that does leave open this Corki on the top side. Well, the flexibility of Corki, I should say. In the LEC, we've seen it played in multiple roles, top, mid, and AD carry. So you always have to respect that possibility. The Renekton lock in alongside the Sejuani for the side of BDS. So already a strong top side for the BDS line.
Yeah, Renekton and Sejuani is just such a powerful duo together. Obviously, Renekton able to get that Sejuani passive off quicker with his melee attacks, the Ruthless Predator giving you 3 of those if it is a ferocious one. Vitality already got that Corki locked in, likely to look towards a jungler here. With Skarner taken away, you do still have things like the Vi, Wukong, but instead, Lyncas immediately going to go towards the Ivern.
Yeah, in EU, we've always been big fans of the Ivern. We've got a lot of good Ivern players, and Lyncas continuing that trend from last year, something that when I was talking to pros, setting expectations for what we'd like to see, Ivern wasn't really in the conversation for jungle picks. So nice to see Lyncas bringing this one out with the Jax coming out on the top side of the map, a little bit more scaling on the side of Vitality. Now the Cassio, however, this is a Nuke special, something that he brought out a bunch last year. He rose in the ranks of LEC mid laners after his consistent high-level performance, I should say, throughout the year.
Just really powerful on the patch as well. They updated her passive to work with feats of strength,
What
so you can get a lot of extra movement speed. Well, Vedius,
Azir, Sejuani, Renekton. Like,
yeah. It could be last year, it could be any of the last 10.
It could be,
you know?
That's why I asked. I don't know which year have we traveled back to. Yes, it's Azir. Something's changed. Most of it in pro play stays the same, especially in Europe. Nuke, very well known for his Azir, something he's played a lot throughout his career, and he's going to be bringing it out. Now they set their sights on support bans. Interesting. Perhaps they want to think about locking in support, which would surprise. I guess the reason why they want to save their AD carry pick is because the flexibility of Corki means you don't really know where it's going to go.
I also don't mind getting rid of hard engaged supports when you look at the rest of Vitality's lineup, right? You've got Ivern, who's only got the Q, you've got Jax, who has to jump in for the CC. You get rid of Leona and Rell here, for example. Those are two of the most powerful engaged supports in the meta right now, and Vitality would be lacking a little bit because they don't have their mid laner we expect locked in as of yet. Ashe taken away by Vitality. Ice obviously very good at the Ashe. He and Nuke were really the standout players for BDS in summer of last year. Alistar taken away from Carzzy, so still something like the Rell an option for Vitality, but not the easiest to engage on Rell into Sejuani, Renekton, and the Azir.
Blitzcrank ban suggests that Vitality might be thinking about a ranged support. When you think of Blitzcrank like Lulu,
you could go Renata.
Renata as well.
Especially when you have enough engage from BDS, you could look for something like the Renata just as a full disengage and we fight front to back as they're starting to run away.
As you rightly said, the Vitality are lacking a little bit of engage.
Yeah.
They need some more reliable way to start off the fight, and BDS are going to secure it for themselves. Now, if this was Labrov, it seems that some things change for BDS and other things stay the same.
Yeah.
And the reason why I mention this is in summer of last year, we pretty much only saw Labrov playing this Rell pretty much every time it was open, and it looks like Parus is going to be given that same responsibility, I should say, for BDS.
And Parus very comfortable on the champ as well. He's really played most of last year. Any support worth their salt right now knows exactly how to pilot this Rell. Vitality will be looking for perhaps ways to disengage, and Taliyah does exactly that. You can put down the Unraveled Earth whenever you see that engage coming in. It then gets the stun, which means Parus on the Rell can't follow up adequately. But where are Vitality going with their support? Hilly talking quite a lot right now. Alistar will be the lock. So again, not a huge amount of engage from Vitality. Alistar does give them some, of course, but he can also disengage for you if you want, and then you can just play front to back with the Ivern shielding your Corki, shielding your Jax as they begin to go in.
I mean, I would love to see this MF come through. I think Zeri can provide a similar sort of tool, but just more team fighting, you know? Azir plus Jinx is something we used to see a lot of, like that very long-range front-to-back style comp, but I think MF gives you a little bit more raw power in the mid-game, just because on that first item spike, thanks to her ultimate, you just have so much more agency, and we think about how valuable Maokai is in the meta because of his zone control. Miss Fortune's ultimate can do something very similar, and you talk about engage and backline threat. Of course, Jax is always going to be a terrifying thing to deal with, especially with the support that Ivern is going to be providing in these exchanges. But overall, I think that BDS have a lot of AoE CC. They have decent disengage tools, thanks to the Azir ultimate. They have a solid front line in the form of Rell, Renekton, and Sejuani. A front-to-back style comp seems to be very much what we expect. Whereas Vitality have a little bit more poke. They have a little bit more options. Strong side lane threats with both the Taliyah and the Jax. They also have Corki, who can very comfortably sit mid alone just because of his additional mobility that he has with his W and a strong wave clear. I think that this is a little different, whereas Game 1 we saw 2 team fight compositions. Game 2 it feels like Vitality have gone for something a little bit different with their skirmishing power, ability to attack side lanes, and ultimately stronger skirmishing and roaming. We'll see how things pan out as we jump into game, and what I'm hoping will be a little bit more of a bloodier affair.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see anything at level 1, because we are seeing that a lot in the LPL and the LCK, teams trying to set up around the fact they have powerful level 1s. Alistar not the best at level 1, but you have a long-range route from the Ivern, and you've got the counter-strike as well from the Jax who can follow up on that route. You have the ability for the Taliyah to knock someone back into your team. Vitality have a few of those tools. Obviously, dangerous into a Sejuani and Renekton, and then nothing's going to happen level 1. They're just gonna line a scrimmage it, Vedi. Come on, guys. It's one game. Just do it, you know?
I mean, the problem is, in the best of 1 format, these teams just put a lot of weight.
Don't get 8th, Vedi.
I mean, I agree with you.
You can even get 8. Just don't get 9th or 10th.
I agree with you. And I mean, you have to remember the BDS last year, they were our 3rd place team, right? And you might be like, don't you need to be more specific? And no, I don't actually. They were pretty consistently 3rd place.
Minions have spawned.
They missed out on Worlds last year. Everyone expected them to go just due to their consistency, but because of the crazy upset that Mad was able to get against G2, it kind of changed a lot of the dynamics that was happening, and Mad was able to take away a spot that was very much expected from BDS.
BDS only lost out by 1 game there. Remember, G2 beat them 3-2. I think, if I remember correctly, it was a reverse sweep.
It was a tough gauntlet run.
Yeah. In season finals.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Lane swap.
Oh yeah, we are actually getting one, and it looks like that they want to avoid the 2 versus 2. Of course, Alistar not the strongest in lane. Irrelevant is so, he's like, no, I can see your Jack's bot lane, and I know exactly what you're doing. He's trying to stay close enough that he can get some XP. He ease in, and he does actually get XP from, I think he did get it from the first 2 minions. I was like, where's that 3rd one? Maybe he missed it, but the 3rd one actually hasn't died yet.
XP range was increased by 100 units on this patch, so it is slightly easier in a lane swap like this to get that XP. They did remove the extra bolstering on the top lane tower. They reduced it at least, so it is easier in a lane swap to take that tower a bit quicker than you used to be able to, but bot lane should still be pushed in here by Ice and Parus, and they're already chipping away at that turret.
Now, you're seeing more variations. For those that have followed the lane swaps, you know that there's 1,000 different ways to do them. At the World Championship, what we saw a lot of was actually the support or the top laner farming mid, and then you would get enough XP to get a level up, and then you would stack as 4 to threaten a dive on the bot side, and then it ended up becoming a race of can the duo lane get enough XP back, quickly address the bot lane and turn it into a 2v4.
Okay, it's just a chunk. Hilly using Aftershock there to tank tower shot because towers are a lot stronger now. I was very worried that they were just looking for a full-on dive there on Irrelevant. 113 is in the area. Carzzy takes a tower shot himself as well. Irrelevant's going to get knocked back here. 113 going in. The pulverize from Hylissang was too early. Chased over by 113. Lyncas is in the area. Can he get close enough to save his Alistar? The answer is a resounding no. BDS on the board as Irrelevant picks up the first kill of the game.
Vitality's bot lane completely fumbled the play there. They get way too ambitious, and they just, they're in between towers. 113 comfortably comes, cleans that one up, and while he will lose his red buff for it, first blood secured for BDS.
The first of those feats of strength as well. Irrelevant does have TP, can get back to this lane. That extra gold infusion as well, considering he's 2 minions behind his opposite man, I guess not quite his lane opponent. Will get him that longsword and boots. We'll have another look at this play.
So I think this initial chunk is fine, but then Carzzy ends up taking a tower shot. He now is in an awkward spot trying to get back to his lane, so Hilly has to commit to the play to get his AD carry to safety. And only level 2, there's very little that he can do to get away to safety. He's already committed the flash. Irrelevant expending his own to secure that first blood, setting himself up nicely here in his first game of the split.
Yeah, also just an early pulverize from Hylissang. He's looking to stop 113 jumping in or Irrelevant going back in with a slice and dice, but as soon as you've used that on the Alistar, it becomes very easy for Irrelevant and 113 to chase you down. 113 will be happy with his return to the LEC stage so far. Did play on Astralis previously. Very young when he joined the league a couple of years ago. I think he was only 18. And excited to see how he's developed over that time. Because in the ERLs, he's been doing a hell of a job.
He certainly has. I think he's definitely improved since we last saw him, and I think that it's fair to give him a fresh start, a new opportunity in a new roster, new environment. We've seen players completely change in different environments with different teammates and different coaching structures or staff structures. You know? So I'm excited to see what he can do with BDS, a team that I think that, in my opinion, were largely the same last year. We saw some developments from them, but every time we saw them stray away from their tried and true strategy, it often didn't result in the same level of success. Now, individually, I think a lot of their players improved dramatically throughout the year, but I don't blame them for wanting to make a change. And so they brought in some new players, and we'll see if there is an adaptation in their approach to the game, because they were very calculated, they were very controlled. Their early games last year were actually very solid. Very good at building leads in the early game, just sometimes they would slow the game down, be very methodical, and that was kind of what they were always known for. Team fighting, being methodical, being patient. As 113 now sets his sights on the mid lane.
Czajek does have level 6, gets hit with the Arctic Assault, has to flash away early. Nuke deciding not to invest the flash to follow up with the Emperor's Divide. Ice getting chunked out by Naak Nako, but puts a love tap and a double tap into his back. Naak Nako forced back underneath the tower just to farm his way.
I'm a little surprised to see Naak Nako sitting upright. You know,
yes, it's true.
The famous lying back in his chair. I even saw him at the Emmy Masters final, just full recline.
Yeah.
Having the time of his life.
I will say the camera positioning is a lot easier when he's sitting up like this for our production staff. Lyncas here starting up the grubs. Does have a man advantage
BDS
right now.
Contest this.
I'm not sure. Ice is running down towards the bottom side. They can look to try and steal away one. Remember, to get a feat of strength, one of the neutrals, you need to get all 3 grubs from a camp. So even if 113 can just poke his head in, get one smite down here, doesn't quite get that one. Vitality now forced away, but BDS able to put enough pressure down that they will stop the feat of strength from Vitality.
They will. Well played there by BDS. I mean, you could argue that 2 grubs is still a good thing for Vitality.
100%.
If they're able to get the next 3, they'll still be able to maximize the value of the objective. But now they set the sights on the dragon. Push coming through from Ice. It's going to tick over to level 6. A nice upgrade for him as he now unlocks the availability of his ultimate. Lyncas making his way down to poke around this objective. Will get a bit of vision himself, but he's not quite in the same position to contest. And I think that's a wise move. You do have, well, Naak Nako doesn't have TP, so it's unlikely he's going to get involved in the fight. They're keeping the pressure up in mid. And Ice has now made his way over to help with this objective. So overall, great start for BDS. They get themselves the first dragon of the game. They denied the entirety of the first grubs. They also secured first blood. So in terms of the feats of strength, definitely things looking in their favor.
Yep, BDS will be very happy with how this game is going early on. Hylissang, Carzzy and Lyncas looking to see if they can find something in the bottom lane, but there is a ward in that tri-bush from BDS that makes them safe as houses. Parus is going to step up. Hylissang stunned, only level 5 right now. 113 coming in, and there's the bullet time. Hilly oversteps for the second time this game, and BDS immediately pounce. Root Caller coming out. Good block from Parus. He'll burn his flash to get away, but he saves his AD carry summoners.
Bit of trading happening in the top side of the map as well. Naak Nako forced to retreat against the Renekton as BDS find themselves another kill in the bot lane. Nice idea there from Hylissang, but he didn't respect the possibility of 113 coming in with the counter gank. He doesn't have the level 6 yet, doesn't have those resistances, and so BDS are quick to shut him down. Lyncas wisely finds a window where he can steal away a blue buff. Ivern can be very obnoxious because of his ability to do things like this, and they do get that bot wave pushed in. Unfortunately for BDS as well, the Ignite ends up securing the kill, meaning that Ice doesn't secure that kill, but ultimately not a bad place to be in as they find themselves with about a 500, 400 gold lead for now.
And Parus uses the gold to get himself early Merc treads, which just allows him to be out on the map and more active, right? You can see Hylissang a little bit behind in terms of that early movement speed. Grubs up in a minute 30's time, so expect to see standard lanes for the next 40 seconds to a minute or so before BDS decide that they need to send their support up towards that objective.
I mean, you can see they've got kind of a slow push being built here. All these stacked waves means that Vitality's bot lane is going to be forced to answer. Carzzy wisely investing his resources to clear out that back line, thin the wave as much as possible, not allow it to stack and give an easy window for BDS to move. Just wisely played there from Carzzy, putting that extra bit of pressure, now pushing the wave back in their favor. TP going to come through from Nuke into the mid lane. Worth highlighting, running the lethal tempo on Azir. I just love talking about it only because we've seen Azir, I think, run every single rune in the game. So this is the new iteration. I'm sure when we see Azir tomorrow or later in the day, he'll be running a different set.
Like Grasp or,
yeah, Grasp.
Electrocute.
I mean, Comet, Airy. I'm sure.
Glacial Augment, I don't think we've seen.
Yet.
True. Support Azir is going to make his way. Now we have support, at least we might as well get support Azir as well. Carzzy and Hylissang do get the push in the bot lane, so they're going to be the first ones to move up towards the top side of the map. Hilly coming out of base. Carzzy's just going to go back and match Ice in that bot lane.
I thought that Ice had actually been able to get the recall off. Looks like that it was interrupted.
I think he kind of decided to stay. Like, they got the push in, and Ice, as long as Carzzy's there, Ice can push. Ice also has slightly more movement speed with the strut. So if they do start to see Carzzy moving up, he can try and chase him down or chase up the river towards him. But the Grubs being up in 7 seconds time. You can see BDS investing their time, investing their resources, and getting vision around this area. The Scuttle Crab taken by Lyncas means that they do have awareness of when 113 now walks across towards them.
Be a big objective secure. You'll notice that Vitality investing on the bot side of the map, threatening the dive, set their sights on the tower plates instead, recognizing, hey, we might not be strong enough to fight them this early on. Renekton is a very scary opponent to have to go up against. They'll concede them for now.
Oh, TP behind here.
Here we go.
Parus looking for Irrelevant coming in as well. Carzzy, Valkyries and flashes away. Hylissang gets the knockback. Lyncas here to join the party. Irrelevant still chasing Carzzy down. The redemption coming out. Carzzy healing up just in time. Another auto from the Croc would have spelled his doom. Irrelevant down to 100 HP, and Czajek is the first to move from mid. Irrelevant falls. Bullet time opens up, but Parus knocked up by Daisy and knocked down by Carzzy.
A nice idea from BDS, but the response from Vitality was simply better. The redemption coming in clutch from Lyncas to keep his AD carry alive, and then the collapse from Czajek to turn the fight in their favor. 2 kills secured. They will lose a few plates. They'll lose the grubs on the top side of the map as well. But they're getting a lot of damage down onto this tower and threatening that potential for that first tower objective. Well played overall by Vitality.
Yeah, really nice from Vitality. We thought with the TP coming in, Irrelevant be able to get on Carzzy, but you can see how long he survives for here.
Yeah, they get the flash out and they decide, you know what, I'm going to turn my attention onto Hilly. Once he knocks him back, he sits there and goes, wait, I'm actually going to commit to this. So close to securing that kill, then the redemption just in time. A rocket there does miss from Carzzy, but ultimately it doesn't matter. There's no place for Irrelevant to escape to. And of course it was an ambitious play because the ability for Czajek to be able to collapse from mid is higher thanks to just playing Taliyah and that Weaver's Wall that he has available. So good response from Vitality. Now Dragon available, 7 seconds. Irrelevant doesn't have his TP, Naak Nako does, but Irrelevant smartly putting a lot of pressure onto the Jax to make it harder for him to be able to collapse with the rest of his team. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to stop Vitality from forcing this objective.
Carzzy has his full Triforce and that tier already at 177 stacks. They have the redemption back up for Lyncas as well. No summoners really for Vitality apart from Hylissang, who has his flash. He's locked up. Unbreakable Will not available yet, so he has to burn the flash. Just enough health with that shield from the Ivern to stay alive.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Carzzy
though, just trading onto Ice. Remember, Ice only has cleanse here, right? He's trying to get out of the root call. He's trying to get out of the stuns. Doesn't have that barrier. So can't really trade too aggressively when Carzzy's in a position he can jump forward.
It's going to be the feats of strength, Medic.
It is.
That's 3 objectives now secured. 2 dragons and grubs. I mean that upgraded boots should be heading in the way of BDS. If I've done my math correct anyway.
I think you have. The triumphant boots don't show on our overlay, is what I have noticed. But when they upgrade to the super duper extra special boots.
Yeah, because I'm in game and I can see that Parus has also got them. So Czajek sitting in the fog, nicely done.
Czajek's done a really good job of catching Nuke out with some of these seismic shoves out of vision. Nuke is, still farming fine. He's about 2 waves ahead right now, but Czajek has been involved in more action. By that I mean he has 1 assist. Went for the Merc Treads first, whereas Nuke has just rushed towards that Nash's 2.
Carzzy now holding the wave in mid. Kind of what we described in draft, right? The Corki able to comfortably sit in mid lane, has plenty of wave cleared.
Yeah.
And this unlocked Hylissang to start roaming around the map. Something that we know him very well for. Naak Nako, once he completes that Trinity Force, the matchup should get a little bit better. Of course, Renekton still a very difficult matchup, or can be for the Jax. And it doesn't really help Naak Nako that Irrelevant. Very well known for his Jax, so should know the matchup very well. But you're already seeing the advantage of Sheen in these short trades. Proc the W, get that extra bit of bonus damage, and you're able to bully him out of lane. So quick recall going to come through from Irrelevant. Naak Nako could threaten the first tower here, but as I say that, I look at the menu map, see Nuke already making his way down. Looks like Irrelevant was just trying to buy time ready for his mid laner to join and catch this way.
It's also less of an objective now. Yes, it is the goal, but it's not contributing to those feats, as BDS have already secured them. Naak Nako should be able to, almost takes it. Emperor's Divide comes back though. Naak Nako still takes the tower. Does have the flash, will dash across the wall. 1-1-3 going wide with the Arctic Assault. Naak Nako still trying to survive, lands the Counter-Strike, but only onto Parus. And the Glacial Prison will lock Naak Nako up. BDS find another kill. Meanwhile, Vitality using their man advantage in the mid lane to push in this tower. Make it rain coming out from Ice. 1-1-3 still looking for that flank, but Carzzy and Hylissang will wisely back off towards the bottom side.
I mean, it's not the worst trade in the world for Naak Nako, and Lyncas is able to defend the top tower as well, so there's nothing that BDS can really trade back for it. 113 should have his ulti up around the time that the Herald's... Well, actually, maybe he won't. A crucial cooldown that he was forced to use to prevent Naak Nako from potentially escaping.
There's always a Warden leap striked
Yeah,
across
there's always that possibility, right? So you want to make sure that you secure that kill. The gold at the top, though, dead even. Remember that it was BDS that had that slight advantage early, thanks to the few fights gone Vitality's way, and now securing that tower. Themselves in a comfortable spot. And crucially, Carzzy, a player that is often praised for his performances, especially throughout last year, is in the position to carry. Herald going to be started off for Vitality.
I don't believe he's going to be challenged.
Doesn't look like it, does it? They set their sights on bot lane instead. Pings coming down towards the bot side of the map for BDS. Herald will be very valuable at unlocking that mid tower. Azir can be extremely obnoxious to siege against. This objective secured. Things are looking positive for Vitality. So a relatively even game overall. Most players now working towards their second major item.
Yeah, and that's an example of minions not surviving if you TP to them anymore. You can, things are not invulnerable if you teleport to them, but I will say, Betty, although it has been slightly more action than game one, still not the bloodshed that I was promised, so expecting we'll have another voracious Atakan, as hungry for blood as we are for action in these games.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's going to be in bot lane, though.
It is, yeah, it'll change.
One of the core features, its spawn location is quote-unquote random. Well, I mean,
it's not random,
I shouldn't say that.
It's variable.
Yes, it's variable.
You can actually see, if you're playing solo queue and you press tab, underneath the Atakan symbol, it shows you-ish where it's going to spawn on the map. There's a little bar. It's bot lane where the action was, as Vitality were able to jump on BDS using a relevance teleport to get behind them. 2 minutes before Atakan does spawn, but with Drake up, BDS are looking to get themselves to Soul Point. Parus could get a flank off here. Hylissang has been waiting. Lyncas coming across as well. 113. Arctic Assault's forward, stunned up by the Unraveled Earth. Knocked back, TP's coming in from both sides. Hylissang with a 2-man pulverize. Ice looking to open up with the bullet time. Hylissang down to about half HP. Irrelevant joins fray. And Naak Nako is in the midst of 5 members of BDS. The dive in from Parus. There's the bullet time as well. But Parus will be the first to fall, taken out by Czajek. Carzzy joins the party and forces BDS away.
Hylissang and Naak Nako buy so much time. Czajek rejoins the fray, looking for a bit of action, but he's not able to find it. The Herald going to be dropped into bot lane to secure that objective. Should open up the Dragon for Vitality as well. But ultimately another one skirmish from Vitality, and it's ultimately a matter of BDS turned all their attention onto Naak Nako in the fight.
Oh, he overstepped. He thought he was safe because no one jumped out of the bush, and now his team are already on the Drake, and BDS realize, well, we've got another man. Perhaps we can fight this. Ice coming in from their side. Lyncas and Carzzy forced away. Hylissang trying to join up with his AD carry and jungler. Root Caller eaten by 113. Carzzy still putting some damage down. Parus here to join the battle. Naak Nako up in 20 seconds, but no TP on him will make it very difficult for him to join this fight. Seismic shove on 113, the ignite ticking as well. 113 falls to Hilly. Nuke dives in with the Ember's Divide. It's only Hilly who falls first. Now it's a 3v3, but another great seismic shove from Czajek. Finds another for Vitality.
Vitality just continue to outplay BDS in these fights. Lyncas with a beautiful flash. Carzzy taking 0 damage with excellent spacing. And Czajek just finding so much value out of the knockback time and time again. Vitality demonstrating their individual talent in these skirmishes, and they're making it work. They'll secure their first Dragon of the game.
Czajek is having a stormer here on the LEC stage. 3-0-2. Beating out Nuke in a lot of these battles. We'll have another look at the play, because at this point you think BDS can take the fight.
But it's still a 3v3. They don't actually have the numbers advantage yet. They're being chipped away at by Carzzy. And then Hylissang goes for a bit of an engage. You'll see the knockback come through into 113. The ignite ends up finishing him off. And then watch the Azir here flash away from Lyncas, connects the root on. Carzzy then immediately turns his attention. And then another knockback from Czajek to set up for the extra kill onto Parus. Just beautiful individual play coming out from Vitality. Securing themselves the kill lead, about a 1.5k gold lead, and a Dragon to boot.
Yeah, getting the Dragon huge as well. Delays the soul from BDS. Yeah, Atakan has spawned once again, voracious in nature. Naak Nako to step forward with Lyncas and Hylissang here. Hilly pretty tanky with that Ziggs convergence already complete. Has the unbreakable will as well. No flash for him. flashes really across the board. Only Naak Nako has one to his name. Irrelevant's pushing through mid. Vitality going to try and answer it. There's the Weaver's wall. Czajek comes down on the right side of it. Seismic shove with the knockback. Hylissang with the follow-up. Naak Nako here to join. A little bit more action. Jumps across the wall. Irrelevant getting chipped away at, and Irrelevant will fall first. Seismic shove going wide. The bullet time opens up, but that's some very tanky members that Ice is trying to rattle through. Parus Hex flashes the wall, and Vitality able to walk away with every man standing.
I mean, this Ivern is proving to be a nuisance for the Miss Fortune. Redemption, the shielding, the peel, making it very difficult for Ice to really tear through the team fights with this ultimate. We've seen him land some really good positional ones, but the damage really hasn't resulted in any big team fight wins yet for BDS, as Vitality find themselves another pit, constantly looking to be proactive on the map. As Carzzy.
Wait. Oh no, he moved! I was going to highlight the important part for you guys, but...
Mechanics on display.
Yeah, huge mechanics. You've got to do it. It's like, even if there's a 1% chance of it tilting your lane opponent, you have to waggle the butt at them. It's the rules.
I mean, it's a Corki's most valuable asset.
Was asset deliberate there? You take it. It's a win in your column.
Now, on the top side of the map, you'll see Irrelevant setting up the push. He does have the TP available. Now, I have to make people aware, we are running into a bug when it comes to dragons, where if there are subsequent dragons, then the timer kind of breaks.
Yeah.
The next dragon is spawning at 24:31, so about 2.5 minutes away. You'll see on the mini-map a small hourglass when we're about a minute away from that objective, but unfortunately this is something that is affecting all leagues.
Yeah, it's a spectator client issue rather than an LEC issue, right? So
now, as as the dragon is kind of looking to respawn, Atakan is available on the map. We saw in game 1, not the immediate focus, but BDS already setting up really good vision control around it, getting deep wards, looking to keep these waves pushed in, and the threat of it is something that Vitality have to be very cautious of. One of the big changes that we're seeing in pro play right now is objective after objective means that teams always have to be on their toes. They're always put under pressure by something being on the map, and the scary thing about Nuke on this Azir is Sejuani plus Azir should be enough as a duo to be able to secure this objective.
It should be. 8 blood petals over to Vitality right now. I think BDS are on around the same. They give you XP and adaptive force, 12 for BDS. So BDS have about 100 XP more, depending on their collective KDAs. It does scale up and down a little bit, but usually about a single blood petal giving you 100 XP. At this point of the game, a level is about 1,600 XP for someone like Nuke, so not too consequential. Often the consequential XP gains from blood petals come from when the Ruinous Atakan dies and then you pick up all the extra petals then. We're not going to see that happen, Vedi, unless it's some sort of crazy early game. You need like 15 kills or something early on for that to be the case.
Right now it's Vitality getting bullied around in their own side of the jungle. These wards proving extremely valuable for BDS as they continue to zone Vitality away from the objective. The threat of Atakan being started is ever present.
40 seconds before the Drake spawns as well. So BDS trying to set up for that. If they had got the last one as well, this could be Soul into Atakan or Atakan into Soul, right? Get that GA or the false life back. Now Hylissang and Lyncas trying to push forward together, but there's still vision behind them. Irrelevant now finishing Sterak's Gage, will have the teleport as well, and that flank teleport is always a risk. Naak Nako, though, has been knocking on the tier 2 tower in the top lane for a while. Continues to do so. Irrelevant actually popping the Dominus there. Counter-Strike coming out as well from Naak Nako. He'll jump away. Irrelevant trying to keep his tower alive, but can't close the gap on the Jax right now.
I think Naak Nako still has his ulti available, though, which means that should he TP into the fight, they're going to have that advantage. Irrelevant now has to put a lot of pressure onto Naak Nako to stop him getting involved.
I feel like Irrelevant saying, I want you here, and my team will play without me. Hylissang goes in, only onto 113. He's knocked back with the seismic shove, though, and has to flash away. Glacial Prism hits on Carzzy, but he immediately cleanses it away, and already BDS have lost one. Vitality looking for more. The Weaver's Wall in from Czajek. Parus has to dodge to the size of the seismic shove, but dashes back in. No hope left for him, and the bullet time doesn't do much. Hylissang with a knockback. The pulverized mist, but he got the knockback, guys, okay? It's the thought that counts as the root caller hits onto Nuke. He tries to put the damage back down onto Czajek, who's healed up with the redemption.
Hey, I mean, It's hilly, man. It's hilly.
You don't know where Ice was. Maybe he was near the tower. It was blind, lads. Okay.
Happens. That's going to unlock Atakan for Vitality, their first of the split. And again, just great mechanics, great patient play for Vitality. Here we go. More action on the map.
Say what you want about Atakan, but it definitely makes the teams fight. Nuke still has that Emperor's Divide, has the flash. Irrelevant trying to step forward. Dominus about to come back off cooldown for him. TP coming in from Naak Nako as well as he joins the Barney. Atakan's patience might expire. Throws out a few bolts. Remember, if you're tanking Atakan, your armor and magic resist is shredded as well, up to 50 of each. So even if you have a good tank like Hylissang here or Lyncas putting the shields on you, you are going to take quite a lot of damage. Vitality getting control through the bot side here. Daisy poking her nose in, seeing what's happening with this Drake. It looks like BDS will secure the dragon. Will they just give up afterwards? Irrelevant slices away from Naak Nako's engaged. Czajek, though, has caught Parus, who will crash down to safety. Hylissang now rejoining the battle. BDS looks to gain mid-control. Hylissang goes in onto 1-1-3. The Weaver's Wall will separate the two. Nuke has to flash the seismic shove, and now Naak Nako going in with the counter-strike. Emperor's Divide being put down. Irrelevant tries to dive onto the backline, but they just don't do the damage. Carzzy able to get away. Magnet Storm on the backline as well, but there's so much shielding, and there's so much healing coming out from Lyncas. Parus is able to kill off Hylissang, but in the end, it's Irrelevant who falls for BDS, and Vitality take the right side of the tray.
To 1-for-1. Remember that BDS did get away with the dragon as well. Atakan still hasn't fallen. And BDS, even though they find themselves 3k gold down, were able to kind of get away with a bit of a robbery there. The engage comes through from Vitality. Hylissang on the front line with his ultimate backup, forces the flash out from Nuke. Ice can't really get involved in the fight, but once a lot of the tools are gone, he throws it down. But Carzzy's HP just isn't dropping. He gets the redemption. The shields are incredibly valuable. They turn it into a front-to-back as Naak Nako takes out Irrelevant, as Parus ends up trading for Hylissang. Ultimately, though, like, it's a very close affair, as now BDS find themselves at sole point. And it's an objective that Vitality, I mean, they were already primed to fight for it. I think Vitality's still in the better position. 3 items completed now for Carzzy. He's doing so much damage in these fights. The knockback, how Czajek and Hylissang are working together to consistently find these picks is nice to see from Vitality.
I think we cannot overlook how well Czajek has played this game. He's 4-0-5 against Nuke, who did have a really good summer, especially on his comfort champion in the Azir. Czajek has been in the right position at the right time so consistently and has managed to remain unkilled through it all. He is having an absolutely stellar debut here on the LEC stage, and alongside that, obviously the rest of the team are playing really well as well to get them into this position. But as you say, BDS only 1 Drake away from Seoul. They are losing their topside jungle right now as Vitality wrestle control out of their hands.
The question is, can Vitality close things out? Of course, part of the changes were that Vitality, I mean, they were a messy team last year.
Yes, they were.
We saw many versions of Vitality where even with leads, they weren't able to hold on to them. With this Baron, though, this could be enough. Vitality set their sights on it. BDS should be aware that this is happening. They have blue trinkets available. They're going to spot them out.
Chunks out Ice as well, doing his job there. BDS will step round. Not the quickest Baron as of yet, 10,000 HP on it. Naak Nako is chasing Irrelevant off towards the top side. Nuke looking for that engagement, doesn't have a flash, nor does Parus. Has that Hex Flash. He wants to go in. Control Ward in the back of the pit is spotting that Baron for now. Naak Nako coming around the corner. BDS will know he's at least in the area, trading with Irrelevant, goes in with the counter-strike, might have to dash back out to a teammate. Hylissang there, bullet time coming in as well as the Baron falls down to 1,000 HP! Lyncas flashes forward to secure the Baron. Parus goes in with a Magnet Storm as well. Hylissang's able to kill off his enemy support. Irrelevant's Sterex gauge is popped. Will they be able to dash out of the back of the pit? Vitality will take the 1-for-1. 1-1-3 doesn't have a way to go, nor does Irrelevant. It seems locked up. 3 kills in exchange for 1, a Baron as well for Vitality, and they're looking for a little bit more. Czajek going for more. The seismic shove hits on Nuke. What can this man not do? Czajek on absolute form right now as Vitality will take the fight, the Baron and Atakan.
Vitality find 4 and decimate BDS in the fight. Losing Naak Nako at the start was a scary situation. He's fighting off against Irrelevant and Ice, and he gets locked up. The bullet time does so much damage, and the Baron was so low. But you'll notice that 1-1-3 gets knocked out of the pit. He gets stunned by Czajek's...
Unraveled Earth.
Unraveled Earth is the word I was looking for. And he can't get back into the pit, which means that he then can't threaten the smite steal, so Lyncas flashes in, secures the objective, and they turn the fight around. This Ivern is offering so much value in the team fights. Kind of the unsung hero that we're consistently seeing, protecting his carries, providing the much needed utility. And this composition is very much about dancing around your opponent. They have a lot of poke, they have a lot of chip damage, and if they have the ability to find that pick, shut down that single target, they just melt through you one at a time. With such a solid frontline in the form of Hylissang, they are tearing BDS apart.
It's cool, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee here from Vitality, and now they have that false life, that GA for the next 100 seconds or so. They'll push in for the tier 2 in mid.
They should just die.
Yeah, just go for the tier 3, just go for it. You've got Dawn Core as well on the Ivern, an incredibly powerful item when you can get that extra healing and shielding. And BDS realize, well, they can just go, so we're just gonna go back to our fountain, back off. The wave's pushing in bots as well as Vitality crack open the base of BDS. They're looking to open up a tier 3 in the bot lane as well. The tier 2 already fallen. And they have Czajek and Naak Nako escorting the way forward. BDS forced all the way back to their Nexus towers right now as Vitality take 2 inhibitors off the push. You might as well dive it, Vedi.
Yeah, why not? Just dive it. You've still got the GA available. You really don't get punished for losing a life, and you're going to immediately respawn. Hilly's looking for it.
He's just walking forward. Counter-strike coming out from Naak Nako as well. They're just going for the chip damage right now on the Nexus towers.
Just dive him, Hilly. This is what you've been waiting for. Your career has built up to this point.
Hilly, up here, there's some space that needs to be made, okay? You have to create some space, and he does it. He dives in, looks for the fight. Parus goes in with a Renekton gauge. Bullet time coming out. Remember, if Vitality die, they will just come straight back to life. But BDS do not have that same luxury. Naak Nako can TP back in. Vitality still have 3 GAs on their shoulders, and the Nexus is open. Nuke chipped away, he dies. The Emperor's Divide does not save him. Vitality crack open the base and crack the heads of BDS as they claim their first win of winter.
An impressive win from Vitality. A different version of this team is what we wanted to see, and that's exactly what we got. Fantastic counter engages from Vitality. So many of the plays that BDS tried to force just got turned around. This combination of Taliyah plus Ivern was so valuable, and it ended up paying massively as Vitality got the win today.
Yeah, incredible performance all round by Vitality. You can vote for one of them in your player of the game vote. Lyncas, Czajek, and Carzzy are your options. They all had great performances, but I'm going to say Czajek, 6-0-10, even if it was because he had the shields, because he had the heals, because he had Hylissang engaging for him. That guy was on a tear today.
I mean, 0-0-16 for Lyncas, 6-0-10 for Czajek.
Yep.
Just a fantastic mid-jungle performance. Carzzy, of course, having a great game as well on the Corki. I mean, just shocking, quite frankly. Yeah. I wasn't expecting Vitality to execute this well.
Nor was I, and as they come to the stage and almost take a bow. I weren't quite joined by everyone there. Naak Nako joining right at the last moment. We do want to turn our attention away from the LEC action now and take a moment to acknowledge the ongoing wildfires in Southern California. As many of you might know, LA is where Riot's story began, and the past weeks have been an incredibly difficult time for the community, including many of our fans, pro players and teams, and colleagues. From everyone here in EMEA, we want to send our most heartfelt well wishes and messages of support to all of you, our friends, our colleagues, our fellow players, and members of the widened Southern Californian community. For those eager to support even further, starting Wednesday, January 22nd, Riot is launching in-game fundraisers, which will go towards global fire and other natural disaster relief. Proceeds will go to the Riot Games Social Impact Fund, which will then direct funds to organizations aiding natural disaster recovery in Southern California and around the world. Thank you so much all for your time. We'll head to a quick break, and we'll hear from Czajek right after this.